I never thought one dinner with my husband's best friend would be the beginning of the end. I used to believe my life was picture perfect. A cozy house on the outskirts of Seattle, a 10-year marriage with David, my high school sweetheart, and our sweet, 8-year-old daughter, Lily. I baked on weekends, packed lunch boxes with handwritten notes, and attended every PTA meeting like it was a sacred duty. I was the kind of woman people described as lucky. If only they knew. It all began on a rainy Thursday. David had been distant lately. He blamed stress at work, longer hours, late meetings, business trips. I believed him, of course I did. We'd built a life together. Trust was the foundation. Or so I thought. That night, we were hosting dinner for his best friend, Jake. Jake and David had been friends since college, and though I always found Jake a bit too charming for his own good, he was like family to us. He brought Lily a stuffed husky toy and me a bottle of my favorite Pinot Noir. The dinner was warm, laughter-filled. At one point, Jake looked at me and said, "You're glowing tonight, Em." David barely reacted, didn't even look up from his phone. Jake noticed. He stayed after David went upstairs to take a work call. "Is he always like that now?" Jake asked, sipping the wine slowly. I hesitated. "He's just tired." He gave me a look, sympathetic but probing. "Emily, I think you should check his phone." I froze. "Excuse me." He leaned closer. "I shouldn't say anything, but you need to know." "Just, look." My heart started racing. I forced a smile, pretending I hadn't heard him, and changed the subject. But the words festered in my mind all night. Later, when David fell asleep, I did what I swore I'd never do. I unlocked his phone. The password was still Lily's birthday. And there it was. A text from someone named Mel. "Last night was amazing. Wish I could wake up next to you every morning." I stared at the screen, hands shaking. My stomach turned. I scrolled further. Photos. Voice notes. A video. Her face young, beautiful. Her smile in his arms. A month. Maybe more. I didn't cry. Not yet. I just turned off the phone, lay down beside him, and stared at the ceiling for hours, listening to the sound of his breathing, wondering how long he'd been lying to me. The next morning, I made pancakes for Lily and kissed her on the forehead like nothing was wrong. David acted normal. He even joked about taking us to the zoo that weekend. But I was different. Everything had shifted. Around noon, I texted Jake, "We need to talk." "In person?" He replied instantly, "My place at 5? I left Lily with my sister and drove across town. Jake's apartment overlooked Lake Union, modern and sleek. He opened the door before I knocked. "You saw it," he said softly. I nodded, stepping inside. "How long have you known?" He closed the door and rubbed his face. "About 3 weeks. I ran into them, David and her, at a hotel bar. He told me it was nothing serious. I didn't want to get involved, but you deserve better." I sank onto his couch, numb. "Why her?" I whispered. "Why now?" Jake sat beside me. "I don't know. He's an idiot. You've been everything to him. And he's too blind to see it." His words stirred something inside me, a mix of anger and sorrow. Suddenly, my phone buzzed. "David." I ignored it. He called again. Jake looked over. "You okay?" "I need time," I said, standing up. "I need to think." That night, I didn't confront David. I didn't say anything. I just watched him, watched how easily he lied about his day, how he kissed Lily goodnight like he wasn't tearing our family apart. But something inside me cracked when I saw Lily hug him and say, "Daddy, don't ever leave us, okay?" He smiled and said, "Never, baby. Never." Liar. A few days later, I made an appointment with a divorce attorney. Just to understand my options. I wasn't ready to make a decision. Not yet. But I needed to feel like I had control again. Then came the second blow. It was Saturday morning. David was at the gym, at least that's what he said. Lily and I were playing with her Legos when someone knocked at the door. I opened it to find a young woman, probably in her late 20s. Blonde, elegant. Nervous. "Emily?" she asked. "Yes. I'm Melanie." I felt the blood drain from my face. She looked down, fidgeting. "I didn't come here to hurt you." I didn't even know he was married. Not until a week ago. I didn't respond. Couldn't. He told me he was separated. Said he was just staying for his daughter's sake. I swear I wouldn't have. My hands trembled. "Why are you here?" Her eyes filled with tears. "Because I broke it off. And he didn't take it well. He said horrible things. I thought you should know the kind of man he's become." And just like that, she turned and walked away. That night, I packed a bag for Lily and me. Just essentials. I still hadn't told David. I didn't know where we'd go yet. Maybe my sister's for a few days. Maybe longer. But before I could leave, David came home early. He saw the suitcase. Going somewhere? He asked, arms crossed. I stood tall. I know about Mel. His face didn't change at first. Then slowly he exhaled and sat down. It's not what you think. Oh really? I snapped. Because she came to our house. Told me everything. He rubbed his eyes. It was a mistake. I ended it. I shook my head. You ended it because she did. Silence. I don't know who you are anymore, David. But I'm done pretending this is okay. Lily peeked from the hallway. Mommy. I softened. Go get your teddy, sweetie. We're going on a sleepover. David stood. Emily, please. Don't do this. Not now. Not like this. I'm not divorcing you today, I said coldly. But I am leaving. For now. As I drove away with Lily asleep in the back seat, I felt something strange, like grief and relief all at once. I had no idea what the future held. I just knew I wasn't going to let someone else write the end of my story. Not anymore. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who shatter you. And the only way to survive is to walk away before you're broken beyond repair. I didn't leave because I stopped loving him. I left because I finally started loving myself. Living at my sister Megan's place was both comforting and suffocating. She had a guest bedroom set up for us in her townhouse just north of Capitol Hill. It was small but cozy. Lily adapted quickly. She thought it was a sleepover adventure. For me, it was survival. Megan was supportive, though she didn't hide her feelings. I always knew David was off, she said one morning over coffee. Too slick. Too smiley. He was always more worried about impressing your friends than being there for you. I stirred my coffee in silence. You're stronger than you think, Em. I smiled weakly. I'm not sure strength has anything to do with it. I just couldn't breathe anymore. 3 days later, I received a text from David. We need to talk. Please. Just you and me. I stared at it for a long time. Megan looked over my shoulder. You don't owe him anything. I owe myself clarity, I replied. We met at Green Lake Park. Neutral territory. Lily stayed with Megan. David looked tired. Not broken, just inconvenienced. Thanks for coming, he said. I didn't come for you, I replied. Say what you need to say. He sat on a bench, motioned for me to do the same. I stood. I messed up, Emily, he began. Mel was a mistake. A stupid, meaningless mistake. I laughed bitterly. Mistakes don't send texts saying they want to wake up next to you. He sighed. I don't know what I was thinking. I felt forgotten. Like all your energy went to Lily or the house or your volunteering. My jaw clenched. So you cheated because I was being a mother? No. I'm not blaming you, I'm just... I was lonely too. I crossed my arms. Do you want a divorce? He looked up. No. I want my family back. I felt the tears behind my eyes, hot and angry. Then you should have fought for it before you destroyed it. That night, Megan found me crying in the kitchen. I still love him, I whispered. She hugged me tightly. Of course you do. That doesn't mean you have to go back. I hate that he still feels like home. She pulled back, looked at me firmly. Then it's time to build a new one. One where you're not just tolerated, but cherished. The next week, I enrolled Lily in a new school closer to Megan's. David protested, but I made it clear this was temporary, not permanent. Truth was, I didn't know what it was yet. Meanwhile, Jay kept checking in. At first, just friendly texts. Then calls. One evening, he offered to take Lily and me out to dinner. Just to give you a night out, he said. No pressure. I almost said no. But something in his voice sounded different. Gentle. Safe. We met at a small Italian place in Ballard. Candlelight, soft jazz, and a quiet corner booth. Lily adored him. She told him about her new teacher, her favorite bedtime story, how she was going to be a vet when she grew up. Jake listened like every word mattered. Later that night, as Lily dozed in the car seat, Jake turned to me. I meant what I said, Emily. You deserve better. I don't even know who I am anymore, I confessed. He smiled. Then maybe it's time to find out. A few days later, something unexpected happened. David showed up at Megan's. Unannounced. I opened the door to find him standing there, holding a folder. I talked to a marriage counselor, he said. I booked us a session. I blinked. What? I know I can't fix this overnight. but I'm willing to try. If you let me. I stood there stunned. He looked sincere, desperate even. I can't promise anything, I said. But I'll go. Our first session was tense. The counselor, a woman named Grace, listened as David admitted to the affair. To the lies. To the distance. I spoke quietly. It wasn't just the cheating. It was the erasing. I disappeared in that marriage. Grace nodded. Do you still want to be in it? I didn't answer right away. I want to feel seen, I said. That's all I ever wanted. That night, Jake texted. You okay? I stared at the screen, then replied. I don't know anymore. He didn't reply right away. Then. Whatever you decide. I'll be here. No pressure. Just here. A week later, another surprise came. This time from Megan. She handed me an envelope. From someone who called the house. Said it was urgent. I opened it. Inside was a letter. From Melanie. It read. Emily. I didn't know how else to reach you. David has been trying to contact me again. He says he wants to keep things open. He says you're trying to fix things but that he isn't sure it'll last. I thought you should know. I'm sorry. Melanie. My hands shook. All this talk of rebuilding. Of therapy. Of family. And he was still stringing her along? I didn't confront him right away. I waited. Waited until our next session. I want to ask you something, I said, eyes locked on his. Anything. Are you still talking to her? He blinked. No. Of course not. I pulled out the letter. He read it. His face turned pale. That's not what it looks like. Stop, I said. Don't insult me by lying again. He opened his mouth. Then closed it. Grace looked between us. I think I have my answer, I said quietly. That night, I packed the rest of my things. I didn't cry this time. I told Megan. Told Lily. Explained gently. Lily cried. Megan didn't. She just held my hand. Jake called later that evening. I heard, he said softly. I'm sorry. I exhaled. You were right. I was holding on to a version of him that doesn't exist anymore. He was quiet for a moment. Then, so what now? I looked at the boxes around me. I start over. It wasn't the affair that ended us. It was the lies after. The layers of manipulation. The gaslighting. The rewriting of history to make me doubt my own reality. I didn't leave because I gave up. I left because he did, long before I ever knew it. I didn't plan to fall for someone new. I only planned to find myself. But sometimes those things happen at the same time. Starting over sounds brave in theory. In reality, it's messy, exhausting, and filled with more questions than answers. I rented a small 2-bedroom apartment in Queen and nothing fancy, but it had character. Hardwood floors, a view of the city skyline, and enough space for Lily to have her own room again. The first night, after putting Lily to bed, I sat on the couch surrounded by unopened boxes. The silence was overwhelming. No TV hum. No dishwasher running. No partner's footsteps upstairs. Just me. And the sound of my breath. I should have felt strong. Independent. Instead, I felt hollow. A few days later, Jake showed up, with pizza and a bottle of wine. You looked like you needed carbs and company, he said, holding up the bag. I let him in. He looked around. It's nice, he said. Feels like a fresh start. It feels empty, I muttered. He placed the pizza down, opened the wine. Then let's fill it. Slowly. On your terms. We talked for hours that night. Not about David. Not about pain. Just life. Jake told me how he'd always wanted to open a small bookstore cafe. How he used to write short stories but never showed them to anyone. I told him I used to paint. Why'd you stop? He asked. I think I forgot who I was in that marriage. My needs were always second. He looked at me. Then let's find her again. The real you. 3 weeks passed. Lily adjusted quickly, new school, new friends, new bedtime stories. She started calling our apartment, our cozy castle. Jake became a constant. Not in a suffocating way. Just present. He'd pick Lily up from school when I was late. Drop off soup when I was sick. Text me goodnight even when we didn't see each other. He never pushed. Never assumed. But one night changed everything. It was raining. I'd had a brutal day at work and Lily was running a fever. She clung to me, whimpering through the night. Around midnight, she asked for Jake. Why? I whispered. He makes me feel safe, she mumbled. Something cracked in me. I texted him. She's sick. She asked for you. I don't know why. He responded, I'm on my way. 20 minutes later he arrived. Soaked but smiling. He sat with her, read her favorite story, hummed a song I'd never heard before. She fell asleep holding his hand. Afterward I walked him to the door. You didn't have to come, I whispered. He smiled. I wanted to. I stared at him. Jake, what is this? Between us. He didn't hesitate. It's whatever you need it to be. Friend. Partner. Just someone to count on. I nodded, eyes welling up. I don't know how to trust again. He reached out, gently brushed my cheek. Then let me show you how. And for the first time in years I let someone kiss me. I didn't tell Megan right away. But she figured it out when she saw me smiling while making pancakes. You slept with him, didn't you? I nearly dropped the spatula. No. Well, okay. Once. She grinned. You deserve happiness, Em. Just be sure it's real. And not a rebound. It's not a rebound, I said quietly. It's peace. Just when things started feeling normal, the past came knocking literally. I opened the door and there he was. David. Holding a suitcase. I lost the house, he said. Mel's pregnant. She wants nothing to do with me now. I stared at him stunned. Why are you here? I thought maybe we could talk. I've got nowhere else. I didn't speak. I just stared. Not with pity. With disbelief. You thought you could come here and what? Stay. No. I didn't know where else to go. I'm not your safe place anymore, David. He looked like a shell of himself. I made a mistake. A huge one. I thought, if I told you about Mel's pregnancy, maybe you'd see. I never loved her. It was never real. I took a deep breath. You destroyed our family for someone you didn't even love. And now that she's gone, you think I'm your second chance? That's not how this works. I'm still Lily's father. Yes. And we'll work out visitation. But you don't get to walk back into my life because yours is falling apart. He left without another word. That night, I told Jake. He listened without judgment. Just held my hand. Are you okay? He asked. I thought seeing him broken would feel like justice, I said. But it just feels empty. Closure isn't always satisfying, Jake said softly. Sometimes it just means accepting that you'll never get the apology you deserved. A few days later, Megan called me into her living room, holding a letter. From the lawyer, she said. David was filing for joint custody. I froze. What? I thought you said he wanted to work visitation through mediation, Megan said. I did. He must have changed his mind. My stomach twisted. All the progress, the peace, it felt like it was slipping away. I called him. What are you doing? I want to be a father, he said. And you're making that impossible. I'm protecting Lily. I made mistakes, but I have rights too. I offered mediation. You chose court. I'm not the enemy, Em. No, I said coldly. You're just someone who doesn't recognize damage until it affects you. I cried for hours after that call. The thought of putting Lily through a custody battle tore me apart. Jake sat next to me on the floor holding me. You don't have to fight this alone, he whispered. I don't want her in the middle of this. I just wanted peace. Then we'll find a way to give it to her. Together. I used to think a broken heart meant I was weak. But I've learned something else. Heartbreak didn't destroy me. It revealed me. Who I am now, she's fierce. She's flawed. But she's finally free. I didn't win. I didn't lose. I chose peace, and sometimes that's the strongest move you can make. The word court hung over me like a storm cloud. Every time Lily laughed, I flinched, wondering how long it would last before lawyers and schedules tore it apart. I kept telling myself I had done everything right, but still, this lingering fear of losing something I fought so hard to rebuild kept me up at night. Jake noticed. He always did. You're not sleeping, he said one morning, handing me coffee with just the right amount of cream. I managed a weak smile. Not much. You want to talk about it? I shook my head. I'm just tired of fighting. I wanted a clean break, but it keeps circling back. Jake sat beside me. Maybe it's time you take control, Em. Not react, decide. What kind of life do you want? What kind of mother do you want to be? His words stayed with me the entire day. The following week, I met with my lawyer, a sharp woman named Carla with fierce eyes and a calm voice. She laid out our options, all of them exhausting. You have a strong case for primary custody, she said. David's living situation is unstable and he's admitted infidelity. But Lily loves him, I whispered. Carla nodded. It's not about keeping her from him. It's about protecting what's best for her. That evening, I sat Lily down. Sweetheart, I began gently, do you remember how Mommy and Daddy don't live together anymore? She nodded, her tiny legs swinging off the chair. Well, Daddy wants to see you more. But Mommy wants to make sure you're always safe and happy, no matter where you are. She looked up at me wide-eyed. Will I live with Daddy? No, baby, I said, my voice catching. You'll still live here in our cozy castle. But you might spend some weekends with Daddy. If that's okay with you. She was quiet for a while. Then she said, can Jake still read me stories? My heart cracked open. Yes, I whispered. If you want him to. She nodded. Then it's okay. Jake didn't say much when I told him I was compromising with David, structured visits, limited overnight stays, and a therapist to help Lily adjust. You're doing what's right for her, he said. Even if it's hard. Does it make me weak? No. It makes you her mother. A few months passed. Things settled. Lily adjusted to the new rhythm. David stayed civil if distant. He didn't try to fight anymore, and I suspected it wasn't because he agreed with the arrangement, but because he realized I wasn't going to crumble. I had built something stronger than what he destroyed. On a breezy Sunday morning, Jake and I took Lily to Discovery Park. She ran ahead of us, chasing butterflies and singing loudly off-key. You know, I said, watching her, I never thought I'd get here. Where's here? Jake asked. This piece. This version of life where I'm not waiting for the next heartbreak. He took my hand. You earned it. I glanced at him. Can I ask you something real? Always. Why did you stay? When I was a mess. When I pushed you away. When I didn't know what I wanted. Jake smiled softly. Because I saw you. Even when you didn't. I blinked back tears. That's the kind of love I didn't think existed. It does, he said. And you deserve every bit of it. 2 weeks later, Jake took me out to dinner, just the two of us. A small Italian restaurant with string lights, wine-stained menus and live jazz drifting through the air. He was nervous. I could tell. He kept tapping the table, adjusting his sleeves. Are you okay? I asked. He laughed awkwardly. Yeah, I've been thinking about something for a while. My heart skipped. He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small velvet box, but didn't open it yet. I'm not asking you to rush anything, he said quickly. This isn't about pressure or fixing something broken. This is about building something new with you. He opened the box. A simple gold band. Elegant. Timeless. You don't have to say yes tonight. Or even next month. But I want you to know, whenever you're ready, I'll be right here. I stared at him. This man who showed up with pizza and patience. Who saw the cracks and loved me harder because of them. I can't promise I'll never be scared again, I said. He leaned closer. I'm not scared if we're scared together. I took a breath. And for the first time, I wasn't drowning, I was floating. I'm not ready today, I said. But I'm getting there. And when I am, I wanted to be you. He smiled. That's all I needed to hear. Life didn't become perfect after that. There were still hard days. Lily got sick. Work was stressful. David missed a few pickups. But somehow it didn't shake me anymore. Because I wasn't living for anyone else's version of happiness. I had found my own. A few months later, I stood in front of a blank canvas in our living room. Brush in hand. Music playing softly. Jake was making pancakes with Lily in the kitchen, their laughter drifting toward me like sunlight. I dipped the brush into a shade of blue and began to paint. Not to forget the past. But to finally let it go. I lost everything I thought I needed, only to discover what I truly deserved. I thought heartbreak would be the end of my story. But it was just the beginning. Because sometimes starting over is the bravest thing we can do.